Are you wondering how student loans may impact your ability to qualify for a mortgage? I'm going to go over the 4 loan types and how they look at your student loan debt. I'm Shaheedah Hill, getting you over the hill to home ownership and helping you confidently buy your first home. Student loans are unique because they have so many different ways you can pay, and they also allow for deferment or forbearance. So I'm going to go over each of the types and how they use your payment into your debt to income ratio, how they calculate it into your debt to income ratio. If you're not familiar with your debt to income ratio, please watch this video, Can You Afford a House? I explain how they use and how they calculate your debt to income ratio. Let's begin with USDA loans. USDA loans are for buyers that are buying in rural communities. They will use your actual payment as listed on your credit report, or they will use 0.5% of your student loan balance, whichever is greater. So even if you're on deferment or forbearance, they will use the 0.5%. So if you have a student loan balance of $50,000, that would equal to $250 calculated into your debt to income ratio. For VA loans are for veterans or people that have served in the military. They will also use your actual payment as listed on your credit report. They will even use your income-based repayment, even if that income-based repayment is calculated out to be $0. Not that you're not paying, but they've calculated your income-based repayment to be $0. They will use that amount as well. Or if you're on deferment or forbearance, they're going to use 5% of your total loan balance divided by 12. And that would calculate on a $50,000 balance, that would calculate to be $208. Now let's go to conventional. Conventional is either backed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. So Fannie Mae looks at your student loan debt a little bit differently than Freddie Mac. If you're not sure which one you are being backed by, just ask your lender if they use Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. All right, so Fannie Mae will use your actual payment, even if your actual payment under the income-based repayment calculates to $0. Or if you're on deferment or forbearance, they're going to use 1%. So sometimes for some borrowers, it may make sense to get out of deferment or forbearance and get onto a income-based plan or a standard repayment plan if it's going to be less than this 1%. Freddie Mac will not use the income-based repayment if it's $0. They will use 0.5%. So that's the main difference here between the two. They're going to use 0.5% of your loan balance, and if you're on deferment or forbearance, they will also use 0.5%. So if your student loan balance again was $50,000, Fannie would use $500 in your debt to income ratio, and Freddie would use $250 into your debt to income ratio. So if you're wondering which one you have, again, ask your lender, and just know they're going to look at your student loan debt a little bit differently, even if you're doing conventional financing. It really matters who's backing your loan. Now for FHA. FHA had a significant change in June 2021. They now look at your actual payment. So they'll look at your actual payment even if you're on your income-based repayment plan. However, if your income-based repayment plan is not more than $1, so it has to be $1 or more in order for them to count it. If it's anything less than $1, then they will use 0.5% of your loan balance. If it's on deferment or forbearance, they will also use 0.5%. So for FHA, if you have a $50,000 balance, they will use $250 in your debt to income ratio. I hope this was helpful for you to know how each loan type looks at your student loan debt. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.